Welcome back. CNN reports a question of if the UK votes to exit the EU. Will the consequences be equal to the financial collapse of Lehman Brothers or the bust of Y2K? Experts disagree.
We just don't know what the consequences of a vote to quit the European Union will mean.
Well, the government tell us they know. $42 billion hole in public finances.
That's a long-term thing. It's the immediate. We're going to see the pound probably slump 20 or 30% very quickly. We're going to see a knock-on effect on the stock market, and we could see a knock-on effect on the European stock markets. The whole global economy, if you like, is on hold waiting for this vote. And we've seen effects in the Japanese stock market or in New York. So actually it has Lehman Brothers collapse could be as nothing compared to Britain leaving the European Union.
I happen to have a British passport, and having spent a lot of time over there and still speak to a lot of people that live there, and I don't think this really is going to end up being as big of a deal as most people think it is. You know what it smells like to me? It smells like Y2K to me. You know how we made that a big deal going into it, and on January 1st suddenly we were all able to take out our $200 at the ATM, and there wasn't really any worries. I think that even if they did vote to leave, which I don't think is going to be the case now, but even if they did, that's a 2-year unwinding process. Nothing's going to happen drastic overnight, and the world would have a chance to adapt. So I don't think it's, is going to be as big of a deal if they do vote to exit as much as your mind and your imagination might make it.
A humanitarian disaster is unfolding around the embattled Iraqi city of Fallujah as the Iraqi army fights to drive the so-called Islamic State out of the city. UN figure shows 80,000 residents have fled in the past few weeks, and a further 25,000 are likely to be on the move. Aid agencies are struggling to provide food, water and shelter for them. The BBC's Alan Johnston reports.
The Iraqi army has been driving forward hard. In a major offensive, it's thrust into the city of Fallujah. Islamic State fighters used to own these streets. Now they belong to the government's forces. IS is holding out in some neighborhoods, sending out suicide bombers and snipers. And all around on this battleground there is the wreckage of homes and shops and offices, reminders of ordinary lives ruined by the war. Tens of thousands of Fallujah's people have come to camps like this, where there's not enough of anything, food or water or shelter.
The IS militia promised us food, but there was nothing. We wanted to flee, but they hemmed us in. There was no gas and the schools were closed. What there was were rockets, Air Force jets and tanks.
Now the aid agencies must care for this mass of people, and that is posing a major challenge in this desperate, desolate place. Just an hour's drive from the misery of the refugee camps, the mood is very different. The feeling among these people in the capital is that very slowly and very painfully the war against the militants is being won. Alan Johnston, BBC News.
Fighting in Syria has forced many to seek refuge in Turkish towns along the border. Al Jazeera went to meet Miriam Tijan, a widowed mother who fled the war but did not escape danger. Al Jazeera's Riza Sayah reports from Kilis along the Turkish-Syrian border.
No matter where Miriam Tijan runs to, heartbreak and loss seem to follow. Last year she lost her husband, a TV repairman and the family's sole provider, in an airstrike in Aleppo city. In April, she grieved for her daughter. Yasmin and 3 other children were killed when what was reported to be an ISIL rocket hit their shelter in Kilis. They had fled to the Turkish town to escape the Syrian war.
I closed my eyes and opened them again and she disappeared. Then I found her in a pool of blood. My daughter was like an angel.
Like the more than 9 million Syrians displaced by war, Miriam has responded by carrying on. Mostly, she says, for the sake of her 3 surviving sons.
Sometimes I feel like I can't hold on anymore. Then I ask God to give me strength and help raise my children.
A local charity moved Miriam into another shelter in Kilis and named it Yasmin in honor of her late daughter. For Mariam and 7 other families here, it's yet another refuge to wait out the war. For the children, many of them orphans, it's a place to learn, play, and be kids again.
Our main goal is to help the women and children who are most vulnerable in this war.
One of the challenges of drawing the world's attention to refugees is driving home the fact that, just like you and me, they're human beings with hopes and dreams. But that often gets lost in all the focus on the conflict. We don't have time to introduce you to all these adorable characters, but here are a few.
My name is Bashir Hajib, and my dream is to be a pilot.
My name is Aya Adam, and I would love to be a hairdresser.
My name is Shad Muhammad, and I want to be a teacher.
I'm Saror Ahmed. I'd love to be a geography teacher so I can keep Syria's borders from changing.
My name is Abdallah Al-Shawa, and I dream to be Superman to save Syria from the war.
Until dreams come true, these refugees do their best to make their shelter feel like home, with decorated rooms, a cartoon channel in the living room, and sitting together on a rooftop to break their Ramadan fast. Syria's refugees, resilient, united in family, still hopeful for a better future.
Anti-establishment outsider Virginia Raji has been elected as Rome's first female mayor. Voters in Turin have also elected a female mayor from the same party. Multi-billion-dollar debts, claims of widespread corruption, an investigation into mafia connections, and a struggle transport network have led to growing dissatisfaction with mainstream politics among Italian voters. Al Jazeera's Rob Matheson reports.
Rome is described as the eternal city, but its politics have a new face. Romans have chosen an unknown, politically inexperienced 37-year-old lawyer, Virginia Raggi, to sort out their day-to-day problems. They include multi-billion-dollar debts, claims of widespread corruption, an investigation into mafia connections, a struggling transport network, and a failed rubbish collection system.
We're going to work to bring legality and transparency to the institutions. After 20 years of bad management and after the mafia investigation, principles have disappeared.
Raggi's campaign has focused on local issues, but her win is being felt across Italian politics. It's propelled her party, the Five Star Movement, also known as M5S, into the heart of decision-making in the capital. M5S was founded by comedian Beppe Grillo after Italy's economic crisis. Until now, it's failed to shake off its reputation as a protest party. It's also been bolstered by the success of another of its female candidates. Early results show Chiara Appendino will be elected mayor of the northern city of Turin. The wins in Turin and Rome are blows for the centre-left Democratic Party of Prime Minister Matteo Renzi.
People want to change the things, even if it's on the wrong side of the changing, but you never know. So people said, okay, I want to change, we want to try. We want to try this young lady, 37 years old. So it's completely a strange animal in the political scenario.
Italians will vote on Renzi's ambitious package of reforms to the constitution in October. He says he'll step down if the plan's rejected. For now, Virginia Raggi seems content to focus on the problems of Rome. But if her ambitions grow, so will the pressure on the Prime Minister. Rob Matheson, Al Jazeera.
And this has been a look at your regional and international news. I am Barbara Andrews.